Good afternoon, y'all. I wanted to get a little video action going on here and show you guys basically some Tang styles. So one of the things that, most knife makers when they first start making knives is, obviously the first type of knife that you're going to make, that most usually make is what's called a full Tang. And, I've posted tons and tons of full Tang knives. I make a lot of full Tang knives still, but I do a lot of other styles of knives too, hidden tangs, through tangs, sub hilts, stuff like that. So I wanted to talk to everybody about the different styles and just kind of explain this is what's going on. Okay, I sold a lot of knives, and I have a lot of people hitting me up for knives nowadays. With the knives that I post, most of the knives that I make are commissioned knives. So, people have checked out what I do and they've ordered a knife from me and picked out like specifically what they're looking to do. And I have a lot of people that hit me up. I'll post a knife up and people hit me up and they're, I tell them a price on, they're like, I like that knife. And there's some sticker shock going on. So I wanted to kind of explain some stuff to you and explain, it kind of has to do with how I charge for the knives. It's based on how much work is involved. So I'm going to start out real simple with, so this is a basic style knife. Now we're not talking about the blade style, we're not talking about the blade size, we're just talking about the construction of the knife. And basically what this is a piece of high carbon steel, okay? And it's a piece of wood and some pins, okay? You can see here that the blade goes all the way through the handle. That's what's called the tang, the part that goes through the handle, okay? So what that is that's a piece of steel with a piece of wood and some pins. Now, these aren't cheap. I make all of these handmade. I make them for you. But these are a cheaper model. I want to say cheaper, but a less expensive model because it's just a piece of steel with a wood handle and some pins. Okay. Now this one's a little fancy with the end on it. I call it the persuader. But let's say we take that off. Okay, so we just got a knife with a wood handle. Okay, so a knife like that is going to be a certain price based on the amount of work and the amount of time it takes to build a knife like that. So this is another style of knife. This is also a full Tang knife. This one has bolsters on it. All the bolsters that I do, I dovetail. Okay, so you have a piece of carbon steel with usually mild steel or brass, nickel, silver. There's several materials that you can use for that. But this is a piece of high carbon steel. It's wood, pins, but it's also bolsters that are attached. You can see the Tang goes all the way through. It's still a full Tang knife. This has bolsters. This knife is more work because it's not just an all wood handle. Again, we're not talking about the blade shape, the size, whatnot. This one's got a gut hook on it. So, but a full Tang knife with bolsters runs a little bit more than just a full Tang knife that's just a wood handle. So this is one of my Texas Tornado models. This is mine. So this is a full Tang knife. What this is high carbon steel. Tang goes all the way through. Okay, it has bolsters. It has a handle. And again, let's take the persuader off the end and just look at it like it's just high carbon steel, a handle, and bolsters. This one has the ring finger, or not ring finger, but a finger ring. Okay, and let me just tell you that the hole is not so hard to drill necessarily, and the bolsters attach the same way that they do on a full Tang knife with just bolsters, but This is incredibly more work than just attaching bolsters to a Tang that's straight. This one has the hole in it, all the shaping that goes on inside of here, and all that. A lot more work. Okay, so and while we're at this, if the Tang is exposed on the end, like my persuaders are here, as this one has a lanyard hole in it. Again, more work, because then I have to, instead of being able to just put bolsters on, put a handle on it, and then shape the handle to fit everything. These have to be shaped before they go on, so that they fit back here correctly. And again, more work. So this is another full Tang knife. You see the blade, and then the Tang goes all the way through the handle. This one's my son's knife, but it's a piece of high carbon steel. This is mild steel, so it has bolsters on it, and it has a handle and pins. So this one has, it looks like a guard, but it's just bolsters. As you can see, the Tang goes all the way through, and this is obviously more work than just the bolsters. These I can attach the bolsters and then shape them down to the Tang, and it's easier and quicker, takes less time than one that looks like a guard and goes, below the handle. And actually this one goes above the handle just a little bit there. So more work, it costs a little more. So this is what's called a hidden Tang. So this is the only one. I have another one here, but I don't have very many of these just on hand right now. So what this is a piece of high carbon steel and a wood handle, and they have a guard. Now the guard has to be slotted, as you can see the guard goes all the way around. You can't see the Tang. And same thing with the handle. The handle is wood all the way around, and you can't see the Tang. Actually, I've got one right here. This one's been heat treated, but I haven't finished it up, put it together. So this is kind of like what the Tang looks like. So you have the blade, and then you'd have a guard right here, and then you'd have a handle. So the handle would be inside the wood. So, a knife like this is definitely more work than just a full Tang. They're not necessarily difficult, but they're a little more work, and so that affects the cost of it. I have another one, and this one's actually a pretty special one, because this one is the first collaboration knife that Terry Shanks and I have been doing together. This was a blade design that I came up with. Terry put these awesome multiple bevels on there, did all the grinds. He heat treated it and then cleaned it up, and then I built a guard. You can see the guard goes all the way around. The Tang goes through, and this one has a stack, what we call a stack. I call it a stack. But this has G10, it has Arizona turquoise from Rob Carper Innovations, and then a wood handle. So the Tang goes inside, through all that stuff, it all has to be slotted, then it goes inside the handle. Okay, so again, hidden Tang, a little more work than a full Tang. But that gives you, especially on this one, you can see, you got all this beautiful wood, and there's no metal showing, no Tang. Now it does have a pin. The Tang goes inside the wood, it goes through everything, goes inside the wood. It's epoxied, and then it has the pin that goes through it right there. You can see that. So, and that holds it, holds it all together. There is an argument that I don't really want to get into right now. There's an argument about a full Tang knife being a stronger knife. Now, somewhat true, somewhat. So if you have a big camping knife and you're literally going to use it to baton wood, you're going to use it to split wood, you're going to take a hammer or another stick, and you're going to put this on a log, you're going to hammer this through, then a full Tang is going to give you a stronger knife in that sense. Now, a knife with a hidden tang, I'll show you this one again. A knife with a hidden tang is not going to be the best knife for batoning wood, because the tang doesn't go all the way around, doesn't go all the way out to the end. It only goes, you know, this tang probably goes about here. So it goes through this stuff, comes all the way through here. Now it's pinned in place. It's pinned. I have this one has a leather wrap sewn around it just because I liked it. It's comfortable. It feels cool. But this one has a pin in it too, and that's what holds it all together. So still a strong knife. Very, very, very strong knife. If you break a knife like that, you're using it wrong. If you have a hidden tang knife and you need to split wood, axe, hatchet, probably a better choice. One of the other style knives I make is what's called a through tang. So what a through tang is similar to a hidden tang, where it has a guard, and the guard goes all the way around the knife. You can see the tang doesn't stick through anywhere. You can't see the tang through the handle anywhere. And then a through tang goes, the tang goes all the way through and comes out the end of the knife. What I do on mine, some of them are threaded and the pommel is screwed on. Sometimes they're put on a clamp together and a pin is put through. What I do is I actually peen the tang. So this is the tang. This metal right here in the very middle that's hammered over the rest of it is the same piece of steel. My alarm went off, so there's gonna be a glitch here. So this piece of steel goes all the way through and comes out the end, and then it's hammered over the end. And the advantage of that, for one, the tang goes all the way through. It doesn't necessarily make it that much stronger, not that it's not a strong knife, but what I like about it is it allows you to not have to put a pin. And you can see I've got all this beautiful wood right here. It's funny because I made this knife for myself and I loved it so much I just had to keep it. And the wood just looks so good, but there's no pin. And it doesn't have to have a pin to hold the blade in place. So it just looks really cool. And one of the things you can do with a through tang, this is another one, another through tang, is this what's called a sub hilt. This part right here is called a sub hilt. So it kind of gives you that finger loop kind of thing going on there. It's a fighting style, not that this is necessarily a fighting knife, but this is a fighting style, and it just gives you a more secure grip, a more secure retention. So the same thing, this piece of steel goes all the way through the handle and has a pommel on the end, and then you can see right there the tang comes all the way through and it's hammered over the end, so you don't have to put any pins to hold it. And what the advantage of that, or what that's for, is this is actually stacked leather. So I know the light's shit in here. So this is actually little pieces of leather. I've actually got another knife that has, I don't know if you can see that one better, there you go. But you can see that it's stacked. It's actually pieces of leather with each one with a slot in it. It goes over the tang, and then they're compressed, the pommel's put in place, and then the tang is peened over the top of it. So yeah, that's some, I'm gonna blow your mind here. You ready for this? Just because I happen to have these here. So this is what's called a frame handle knife. And if you're a knife maker, I wouldn't even make it. So I had a guy who wanted to make a knife. He was looking for something like this, and I'll be honest with you, it took me a couple of months to even figure out how this worked, because the guard goes all the way around and you can't see the tang through it. So the tang has a slot in it, has to be able to slide over on up against the shoulders at the ricasso here. But then this one, especially this one of mine with the finger ring, there's no way that guard is going to have a small enough slot to slide on there and fit well, and fit over the ring or fit over the wide part of the handle. So what this is what's called a frame handle, and it's actually it's a combination of, it's a hidden tang, because the tang goes into the handle, but then there's a frame built with the finger hole that goes up against the guard. So the blade goes against the guard, the frame goes against the guard. It's all pulled together and pinned through. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see there's a couple more pins in there. They're just hard to see, but you can see that it's pinned in place, and the handle's put in place. And again, without the persuader on the end, the handle, or with the persuader on the end, the handle has to be shaped before it's installed. So that was a mind fuck. I'll just tell you that right now. It really blew my mind trying to get that one figured out. So so there's an explanation of Tang's. Yeah, I know. I'm a 14-year-old. I think the same thing. Yeah, I do. So leave me some comments. Check out my website, knivesmadebynick.com. I'm on Instagram, knivesmadebynick. And if you have any questions, give me a shout, send me a message, send me an email, knivesmadebynick@yahoo.com. You can contact me through my website too. Yeah. Thanks, y'all.